I feel like I got to do this every time. Good morning.
Right.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Penalty Box Live. This is, I enjoy this. I look forward to this show.
Me too.
I mean, because I get to hang out with you guys. You guys are my guys.
Awesome.
Even Wes. I love our private. Not everyone's privy to our private conversations before we get started about Wes talking about Britney Spears and just how much she's meant to his life, and it's just joy, pure joy.
Yeah. I can appreciate. He's a fanboy. I get it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So,
Georgie.
There's George. We're good. Shout out to Woodstock Inn and Brewery. There we go. Yep, up there. And you got a pitch for those guys today, Tim?
Oh no, just come to New England. There's ice castles up in the town. So bring your children, stay, drink beer. In most incredible breakfast in the Northeast. Yeah, just great people.
Good. And you've done work for them for a long time, right?
Yeah, but we've been their full service agency for about 10 months now. It's great. It's great stuff.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Well, let's kick this off with some shots on goal. You're first. I went first last week, so you're first this week.
Okay, so my shot on goal is so I have to talk about football. My shot on goal is to a guy named Max Kellerman. Do you know who Max Kellerman is?
I do.
Max,
Yeah.
For people that don't, he's a talking head on ESPN. And in 2016, he told America that Tom Brady was going to fall off a cliff. And I don't know how many Super Bowls Tom had at that time, 4 or 5 by 16. Well, hats off to him yesterday or the day before yesterday. It had to be yesterday. He tweeted, Tom Brady has had a full Hall of Fame career since I made the fall off the cliff prediction.
Well, that's one of those things where you could take Tom Brady's career and probably almost at this point bust it into 3 different categories. Early, kind of a little bit lull. Then he has basically another Hall of Fame career, and you could almost look now and say, well, one Super Bowl is a he has more. He has the same number of NFC titles as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees.
Right. And think about this. What was it? Super Bowl 54 or 55 coming up?
I think 54. I don't know. I'm not good with Roman numerals.
So he's been in 10 of them. Think about that.
Absolutely insane.
Anyway, so that's my shot on goal.
Well, I've got 2, and maybe a bonus shot. But have you seen in this mass exodus of people trying to get away from Facebook and being censored and all that? And I don't want to go down that road, but have you seen the rise of apps like Signal for your direct messaging, because people want to get away from instant messenger because it's Facebook? And so Signal is out there, and which is one that I think Elon Musk had talked about, where it's encrypted, it's private, there's no Todd is here, we just got a message. Exciting. But so Signal is out there. There's a couple others. And so one of the highlights of my week last week, quite honestly, was I get on Signal just to check it out, right? Because I want to be in the know on what's going on, some social media stuff. And I get a message from our buddy George Henderson. Why are you on Signal? What do you care? And he's like, this is for, because, George is deep state and thinks, I be deep, you're not deep state, Eric. What are you doing, you idiot? I'm like, I'm just checking it out. Leave me alone, turkey.
Tell you have to kill you.
See, right. So that's shot on goal number 1. Shot on. Do you have any more?
No, I'm good. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Budweiser, Pepsi, and Coke are not going to participate in the Super Bowl this year. Now, some of their other brands will, but this is the first time, I think, in like 400 years that you won't have like a Budweiser Clydesdale horse at the Super Bowl, which is pretty.
37 years, I think, is the run. But the money is going to a good cause, right?
I don't know. What are you referring to?
Yeah, I read that it's been 37 years. They're going to take the money they would have spent on the ads and put it towards vaccine awareness and distribution.
Gotcha. Yeah, so interesting from a marketing standpoint that you won't have, what's up, and you won't have, frogs, and you won't, I mean, just all that stuff, or Michael Jackson, or we won't have Michael Jackson anyway, but you know what I'm saying. But
or the Clydesdales that tug at your heart, right?
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting Super Bowl to watch. I think they're only, at the stadium, they're only allowing in, I think, 18,000 fans, something like, so it's
something like that. Yeah.
Hard ticket to get, harder than ever. And my last shot on goal, this is kind of a weird one, but we live in this space where you and I both see people that use like Hippo Video and Bonbon or whatever it's called. And I see when it gets used, and I want to say, friends, use it correctly. So I saw a friend last week who did a really nice video on Bomb or what Hippo Vid, nice video, right? And they posted it on LinkedIn, and then they shared that LinkedIn post to Facebook. And guys, the purpose of that is to use it to embed it in your email. If you want to get more traction on a video that I'm looking right at some of you right now. If you want to catch more traction on your video that you put on Facebook or you put on LinkedIn, upload it directly to their site. Okay. And if you're going to sit here and post a Bomb video on LinkedIn and then share that post to Facebook, I mean, it's just, that's not the purpose.
And we can ask Todd this, but do they just not know, or are they lazy?
I think they just don't know. And so, like I said, I'm not trying to be I'm critical, but I'm not trying to be overly critical, but I think some people just don't know.
Right.
That is a question we'll ask Todd, but what, I'm weird about the algorithms, because I think people create the algorithm. We are the algorithm, right?
Sure.
But I think I know that the algorithms of LinkedIn or the algorithms of Facebook reward a video that's directly uploaded to their site because they don't want you to leave Facebook.
Right.
So stop using Hippo Video to make a video and then put it on LinkedIn, and then share your LinkedIn video to Twitter, and then take the tweet and share it to Facebook, and take that and put it on Pinterest, because that is not the purpose of it.
But still a very nice video.
Yes, no, it was a quality video, no doubt, and there was some great stuff said. But like I said, once again, that's not how it works.
For you, Gen X's, Gen Z's, and millennials, that is Eric's version of "Get Off My Lawn."
Get off my lawn. Yes, right. So, well, without further ado, let's get to Mr. Todd Collins today. Let's get him on there. Whoa,
look at that.
I don't know what he's vaping, but he's doing something there. His hair's on point. He's looking good. Todd, you're on mute, so you need to unmute yourself there.
Yeah, I wanted to follow the etiquette as much as I possibly could.
Thank you. We're all about etiquette here.
Oh yeah.
We're all about doing things right. I wanted Todd. I met through Dennis Berry at PFG, and instantly when I started seeing some of the stuff that Todd was doing, I think probably more than a year ago. I mean, I became like a little fangirl. Because what you do is like you're way beyond what I ever think about doing. But I love what you do on social media, and I was instantly attracted to you, not in that kind of way, but just instantly attracted to you as far as what you put out, what your yes, that and the hair. It's just he's on fire, dude.
Got the beard going right now too.
Yeah, looking good. I want to kick this off with talking about the fact you just moved, I guess maybe from doing your own thing to now being the COO of Beamed.
Yeah, it was like two weeks before Christmas, man, and I put maybe a fangirl. Hey, thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that.
Hey.
It was about 2 weeks before Christmas, man, and I turned 42 on Christmas Eve, and you guys either have been there or headed there, and you start getting that itch of reflection. You know what I mean? Where you're kind of just like, all right, 40 years. Now I got to look back real quick. I have to kind of take a peek back. What did I do? Okay. Where do I want to go? All right. And where am I right now? And, 4 or 5 years ago, I launched my personal brand, and I really put, so much effort into that and really using that as my relationship builder, and continued that throughout and helped supplement what, the agency at the exact same time. And it just got to a point where I was like, okay, it's time to do this my way. And that was it, man. I just pulled the trigger. Call it the ADHD impulsiveness or whatever it is. It just went, and we were off the races. In about 3 weeks, we had the company put together. We had the agency built, and I did that specifically in that quick span of time. I wanted to do that and document that to show people how quick and fast you can get a business started from A to Z, from insurance to business licensing, to a website, to social media profiles, to building a team, everything. We had it done in 3 weeks. I'm looking over my board over there, and we're about 62 clients in 3 weeks.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, now obviously a majority of those were clients that I had built relationships with over the years, but it was accepted very, very well. And so it's exciting as an entrepreneur. The exciting part of being an entrepreneur is always the infancy stage of a business. As the business grows and becomes a teenager, it starts to become irritating. And I compare that to, I always compare that to children. I've got 4 kids of my own. At the end of the day, a business literally is like raising a child. I mean, it just always is. You have that lovey-dovey stage in the beginning, and then 5-6 years in, it starts to get a bit of an attitude and starts to cause problems and issues and things like that. And you're just like, I want this thing out of the house. And so, yeah. So it's very, very exciting. I'm very excited about it. It's been awesome.
Awesome.
What size team do you have now? And all, of course, working remotely. Is that your goal to eventually get a spot when life goes back to normal? Or are you going to do it remotely as you have been?
Yeah, we're going to do remote 100% from here until infinity. I believe the stigma of offices is over. I believe it's an expenditure that's just not needed in a business anymore, especially from the industry that I'm in. If I were, maybe an attorney or a doctor or something like that, obviously brick and mortar, you have to have that. But in the industry we're in, I think those days are long gone and past, and it's really just that's more of a show off thing. I mean, obviously I could have an office if I wanted to have an office, but it just makes no sense. And to be quite honest with you, I think it improves the quality of life for the employee. The employee can get their job done, and then they can go about their day as a parent, or go have, enjoy a hobby that they maybe have and things like that. So I think that's better. And before I left the other agency, we had dropped the office off, I think around October anyway. It was a decision that I made. It just didn't fiscally make any sense, and the team members didn't care. As far as the amount of people in the team, we've got 6 people, which is all we really need at this point right now. To be quite honest with you, they're all 6 very talented people that probably could do heavy lifting of 30 people. So I was real picky about the team that I built. It was people that I had already known, and it was the right people. And so a lot of it has been really helping train the people that are internally in a business, teach them how to do it. So it's more of kind of like a holistic approach, instead of, that do it for me, which we still have that. But at the end of the day, I want people to learn and be educated while they're in the process of building it out.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Can you talk a little bit about the stigma that companies used to have that is now changed about outsourcing stuff like social and marketing functions? That, I mean, I own a small agency here in New England, and the selling against we all need to be sitting around a conference table to noodle ideas, that we know has been gone for a long time. But if 2020 wasn't anything, it was a case study on how it really is not necessary. Can you talk a little bit about your feelings on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you build that expectation in the very beginning, right? I mean, I think, there's times where there's certain clients that I have that are just like, I want to meet face to face, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And don't get it twisted. I'm an old school guy. So when I say that, I mean, I was trained in sales and things of that nature by guys that are now probably in their 80s and 90s. But these guys were very old school, but they were great at what they did. And, It was all about the relationship. It was all about the customer service. It was all about giving way more than the expectation of the customer was. And I was trained very well by very, very good people. You know, you guys wouldn't know these people, but it is what it is. I set the expectation way up front now. When people typically, and that's what's good about having a personal brand, is people kind of know who you are and how you operate just by seeing the content that you're putting out. So they're going to go, is this guy going to be the right fit? Is he not going to be the right fit? You know what I mean? Like if I'm coming to your boardroom, I'm coming in t-shirts and jeans. You should already know that because you've looked at my social media. If you didn't look at that and you're offended because I don't show up in a suit, well, that's a problem right there, because that means that you're not even plugged in to what's happening, right? So I'm willing, and that's something as either a business or a digital market or someone who runs a marketing company, you have to be willing to walk away or be okay with the deal not working out if they're not going to work with the way that you do things. So the way that your behaviors are. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, you know, someone emailing me back and saying, hey, that price is kind of high. The other guy can do it cheaper. And I'm like, good, you should go with that person. When their expectation is I'm going to go, okay, well, what do I have to do to make the deal? I just don't do that. And most of the time, and what I will tell you this right off the bat, most people will pay more for better service. I mean, I'm seeing it, literally. I'm seeing it. So as far as the meeting in offices things go, I think it's just going to continue down the trajectory of as new people take over at the head of the table for different corporations, businesses, things of that nature. The Zoom call is just as good as meeting in person. However, there are circumstances where I believe you should go and meet face to face. And I'll give an example of that, Tim. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much here, but I had a client of mine who's a friend of mine who owned 7 restaurants on the Eastern Shore. He went and obviously they dealt with some situations and issues over that span of time. And I stayed in touch with him, and he finally hit me up and he said, hey, you know, what's your schedule next Wednesday? And I said, hey, I can talk. What do you want to do? And he's like, oh, I mean, let's just have like a, you know, and I said, no. I'm going to drive down and I'm going to meet with you face to face at the offices. So I booked a room. I went down, sat there I spent about 4 hours with them, drove home and locked the deal in. And to me, that probably meant so much to them that I was willing to do that. And so sometimes going that extra mile, literally, it will be the difference maker between you getting that deal and not getting that deal. So it's a case by case is the long answer.
Hey, you know I'm in the pizza space.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shared this into some pizza groups that I'm in on Facebook. What's your top 2 or 3 tips for pizza operators on social media?
Oof. Documentation of with human faces of you guys actually making the pies or doing something a little bit different. I think one thing that pizza places don't do enough of is online contests. I think it's you're talking about a product that is your lead product that is technically a loss leader in a majority of the other restaurants that don't use that as their main product or main source of revenue. So I think contests are something that I see most pizza places. I watch them and I'm like, why aren't you guys doing more of this? The other side of it is just taking advantage, believe it or not, of the delivery space. I still am mystified by pizza places that are not either building an internal structure for delivery and convenience for their customer base, and just relying on carry out instead of relying on and looking at the convenience side of things, where, you know, they might say, all right, well, I don't want to use DoorDash and I don't want to do this. And here's the thing, you can fight DoorDash and Grubhub and you can fight them all you want. And of course, there's going to be some legal things that looks like now where Maryland's going to try to put or if the federal government, maybe. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. I think that's great. Also, I'm not cool with that because I'm like, now you're limiting a business's ability to make revenue. Right. It's not the business's fault. They're offering a service. If they're not forcing you to do it. Although DoorDash does hijack Google My Business pages, which
yes, they do.
I'm still mystified about how that little partnership went down. But at the end of the day, I think that they need to really lean into creating a more convenient way of ordering and getting the product into the hand of the consumer in an easier way. And I just don't think that they're taking advantage of that. I think they're looking way too high at the percentage rate that delivery app takes, instead of using it as a limited menu loss leader to get that customer to come in. You know what I mean? Like next time you come in, or I would say like the second order, if you pick it up, we'll give you something for free. It's just one of those things. And I always see that with people where they're always like 10% off, 20% off. I'm like, Jesus, just give it away. Why are you people, our brain doesn't acknowledge 10 or 20% off. We look at that and we go, for the convenience.
There's no real dollar amount associated with it.
At the end of the day, you're like, for the convenience, I'll pay full price. I don't give a shit. Like I'll pay more. I'm sorry if I can't cuss one here.
No, you can. You're fine.
Okay.
No, you can.
We have Carol.
I'm one of those people that I will pay more money for convenience. Even if I don't have the money, I'll still do it.
Right.
So it's like, I that's one thing I would do. And then the last thing for pizza places is I would expand that net. They're not tapping into the fresh market of customer base that they could have, which in reality is that I would say that 25 to 45 market. They're assuming those people are on Facebook and they're just not spending as much time there as they are in, I would say, TikTok or Instagram, and even Clubhouse now. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's just so many different places that they could be, and they're just not doing it.
Well, what you just said, I think is important from the standpoint, pizza operators on Instagram, Facebook are really good at posting pictures of pizza, right? And we expect it to look good. No one's going to post a picture of a shitty pizza, right? But I agree with you 1,000%. Pop the hood. Let me see your staff.
Yeah.
Let me see your restaurant and take it, keep the social in social media. You brought up Clubhouse and TikTok, and I want to ask you about those two from a standpoint of I'm on Android, so I can't get on Clubhouse apparently. Oh well, not the end of the world. My life goes on, right? But talk about TikTok and what you think from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the industry of restaurants, I'll just tell you a story. I have a friend named Scott Betley. His handle on TikTok is That Mortgage Guy. Now, the mortgage industry is in my opinion, is the most boring industry. If you were somebody to come to me and you were to say, "Hey, Todd, I'm in the mortgage industry and I need to do social media," I'm going to be like, "Boy, this is going to be a real headache." Because one, the restrictions on Facebook and Instagram, just from an advertising standpoint, or for the housing industry, are just so ridiculous. Number one, and it just makes things very difficult. And then as far as the mortgage industry goes, most of the consumers don't care about anybody in the mortgage industry unless they're getting ready to buy a house. And I say that to everybody. I'm like, so it's important from a consistency standpoint that they're always consistent with their social media. It's more important for them than anybody else. A restaurant can go 2 or 3 days. They shouldn't, but they can go 2 or 3 days without posting. A mortgage industry or real estate agent representative should not at all. They should be consistent every day. But Scott's story is pretty interesting. I met Scott about 2 years ago, and he had just gotten on TikTok, and I had already been there when it was Musical.ly. And then I remember when it flipped. And I remember him and I were talking, and he was just like, at that point he was working for his father, and he was doing a couple TikToks on there. I think he had a couple thousand followers, and he's like, my dad's just not into it. He just doesn't believe that it's going to do something. And I said, man, you just got to stick with it. I said, do you like doing them? And he was like, I love it. And I go, then keep doing them.
Yeah.
And then he came to me and he was like, what should I do? Should I leave my dad and go with a business that, it supports me in what I do? Because he was starting to get some traction on TikTok with what he was doing. And what he was doing is he was using trending music and trending situations, trending TikToks in a way to reflect it to the mortgage industry. So by doing that, he was gaining followers. And this was early in TikTok, where if you hashtagged properly, you would show up if someone used a specific hashtag. And that was one thing I beat into his head. I was like, whatever you do, anything mortgage related, hashtag it, drop those hashtags in there. So like for me, if you hashtag reputation management in TikTok, I'm all over it. That's massive digital equity. Okay. At the end of the day, that's massive digital equity. And so I said for him to do that. Fast forward to today, he's with a new company. He's got over 300,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow.
He's built his Instagram following from his TikTok. And this is a question I always get: how do I get more followers on Instagram? It's real simple. Build your following from other platforms and then drive that traffic to the platform that you want them to go to. TikTok is perfect for that. And he was able to do it. And now I'm not joking with you. About 100% of his mortgage business comes from TikTok and Instagram, organic, non-paid. And he's the top mortgage loan officer in the company that he's with. Nice. Just bought a brand new, gigantic, huge house, just had a new baby, all this stuff. He is the epitome of what you do when you stick to something and are patient with it and do it consistently. So,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Absolutely. I've been a fan of your content, and do you know a YouTuber named McKenna? God, I just went blank. Anyway, can you tell people a little bit about what you're going to be doing at Beamed?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so our big thing is I just call it a 3-suite, and the 3-suite is basically it's consistent social media posting across all platforms. And that one that's one that I always I find an issue with from marketing agencies. They pick and grind and touch. It's like one you get 3 posts a week on 2 platforms. I'm like, Jesus, just get it done. Don't tell me that you don't have the ability to get the content out there. So consistent social media posting. You have somebody who's here, who's local, in Maryland, obviously, that's handling that content. The reputation management side is really where the core side niche part of me kind of comes in, is where we go after and mitigate negative reviews for our clients. We take it a step further from just responding to a negative review. We respond to all the reviews. We go after the negative reviews, obviously. Then we want to put a process in place for review generation and doing it the proper way, not the black hat strategy bullcrap ways that people do it, but the real ways to actually generate reviews. And then the last part of it is just real, true, to the ground SEO. And there's a lot of companies that say they do SEO, but I mean real SEO. I'm talking about real, like building it to a point where you're doing it consistently over a 12-month span, and you're getting that client into that 3-pack where they are organically, and then using that 3-pack to then build out a good digital ad strategy for whatever their key performance indicator is. And so when you form all those things together, it's a span of something that happens over the way that I break out that formula is it's a 12-month period. And at the end of that 12 months, we start them small. And then at the end of the 12 months, they're probably paying a couple $1,000s to us for the services that they're providing, but the return on the investment is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times that. And it's easy for them to see it. The other thing for me is I don't do contracts. I don't believe in them. That goes back to my old school way of doing business. People think I'm crazy for that. They're like, how are you going to exit your company? And I go, if you start a business with your plan to exit, then you don't really care about that business anyway. So I have no plan of exit strategy. I don't want to exit my agency. That's why I don't do contracts. And I also don't believe that someone should pay me for something if they hate me or don't like what I'm doing. Right. If that's the case, then you part as friends. And that's why I've been able to keep good relationships. Or sometimes clients come back and they go, holy crap, you were right all along. I tried these other guys and they were lying right to my face. And so a lot of people are a lot of industry people out there that I know, they're bullshitters, man. They try to whack people over the head in the very beginning, especially people that don't know what they're doing, and don't know any better. And they leave with that taste in their mouth that Facebook advertising doesn't work, Google advertising doesn't work, LinkedIn advertising doesn't work, Twitter advertising doesn't work. They leave with that taste in their mouth, and sadly, that's just not the truth.
Right.
If that were the case, then one, Clem and I would be unemployed. And also, you wouldn't see other businesses out there that are having successful campaigns, and they're doing great with it. So I can tell you it does work, but most people just are not patient enough. And again, that's about setting expectations. And I say that to them. I'm like, in the first 30 days, you're probably not going to get anything out of these digital ads. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you're basically going to be throwing your money away in the first 30 days. And they're like, how can you tell me that? And I'm like, because I'm telling you the truth. Your ads need to optimize within the platforms in the first 30 to 45 days. That's what's going on. So if you get a lead, God bless you. And they're seriously like, are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm just telling you the truth.
I love it.
In 90 days, when you're getting bombarded with leads, you're going, man, you're great, right? The expectation level is built out. And that's where marketing companies screw up. They sell this pipe dream in the very beginning. And at the end of the day, you're selling something that you're selling the results of a 12 to 24 month strategy. And the customer's expectation is this is going to happen right away. Right. And it's just not built out in the beginning like that. So those three things, Timmy.
Well, as we wrap up, so we're going to wrap up the live here, and then Todd will come back and record the OT. But three things. You mentioned hashtagging it. Wes actually calls it hash browning it. I don't even know what that means. Secondly, we are on a path, a journey to try and get Wes in touch or in some way engage with Britney Spears. So if you have any insight on that, that would be outstanding. And I want to ask you real quick before we wrap this up, favorite Baltimore Oriole all time?
Oof. Mickey Tettleton.
Really? All right. Well, that's not the big name you would think, but that's, it's kind of like when we had who did we have on last week? Evan Carmichael.
Right.
Who was his favorite Oriole? Was
God, I can't. It wasn't an Oriole. It was a Blue Jay.
A Blue Jay. Sorry, Blue Jay.
Yeah.
Not to take your time up, but the reason it's Mickey Tettleton is just honestly is when I was younger, I went to a Memorial Stadium Orioles game with my dad. We sat out. This is back when the players would actually park in the parking lot, and him and Rene Gonzalez actually walked out, and they sat there with my dad and two of my friends for about 2 hours. Just talking, autographing a bunch of stuff, just talking baseball. And those guys ended up actually coming to our Little League opening day and stuff like that. So the reason I like those guys is I think back then they were just a different type of player, man. Those guys, they were just like us, They
had jobs in the winter and different world. So thank you for being on. We're gonna get out of here. I've still got a ton of questions for you.
Me too. And it was Kelly Gruber. It was
Kelly Gruber.
Right.
Kelly Gruber, his favorite Blue Jay all time. It just blew
weird.
What? Yeah, well,
I know it's weird.
Yeah, but that's the beautiful part about baseball and sports, and you just never know why somebody likes who they like. But Britney Spears, if anyone knows how we can get Wes in touch with Britney Spears, we need to bring that.
You need to call her dad.
Yeah.
She's in lockdown, from what I believe.
Something. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Tim, anything else before we wrap this up?
All set. Looking forward to asking you a couple more questions on the OT.
Yep. See you guys. Have a great day.